It's time for another big Sunday video here as we go over the big three: Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. We have been walking through each and every week of this proverbial consolidation, the consolidation that never ends because it is just beginning to actually to resolve itself, I do believe, as we do actually have something very new and interesting to be speaking about on this particular video compared to, well, the last month's worth of these weekly updates. So without further ado, I suppose we can just jump right into it, starting off with Solana. And on Solana over here, we did identify a couple weeks ago the potential for two higher lows, which was the first major indication of a potential reversal here. And indeed, it is following through on top of that. So that is the new information. Of course, Solana has also broken above and closed above that very critical 163.5 region, which is not just another higher high, so thus completing the reversal on both higher highs and higher lows, but also just a breakout retest, and then, so far so good. So what does that essentially imply? As long as Solana is closing dailies above 163.5, I would be expecting upside from here. Again, that does kind of work within the time frame that we have been looking for, particularly with Bitcoin on this channel, for an early November move, if you will. Anyways, also going over here to the weekly time frame, I do want to get into this as well. I think this one's a little bit cleaner in terms of the actual move and breakout. Let me just get rid of our indicators for the moment. And yes, indeed, again, anything above 163.5, good for the BULAs, and very likely does set it up for a move back around your July highs, 190, probably 200 plus, probably even just gets ready for the big bad breakout. Of course, however, if you are waiting for the big bad breakout, the big region to be aware of is going to be about 190. Closing above there, expect 200 plus, probably retesting prior all-time highs, and so on and so forth. On top of that, when we go ahead and reference our stochastic momentum signatures over here, we do see again the continuation of this bounce off of the same momentum level that we have seen since June of 2023, in which all of these great rallies have begun. Some of them, don't look like much over here, but it was still a big percentage-wise moves. This one being literally a 125% move, even though it literally looks like nothing on the board. This one over here, an absolutely massive move. This one over here, a decent move, however, not the big one. And then this one right here, again, bouncing off the same region, also on divergence as well, and breaking back above the highs of the the August move. Again, indicative that this one is very likely the real move, if you will. So what am I essentially saying? What I'm essentially saying is that, look, if what is happening that we have essentially been preparing for on this channel to happen, we're probably looking for follow through this coming week, especially into early November. It does look to me like Solana is quote unquote ready. And while there will be pullbacks along the way, I would just keep a general eye on the overall trend. And as long as the trend is the upside, well, the trend is your friend. And again, above 163.5, completely fine. Below 163.5, okay, perhaps something else is going on. I'd be getting ready for another move back down to about 150. But until that happens, upside the more likely of the directions here. Again, crossing all different higher term time frame momentum. We can see 5-day time frame continues the upside alongside yesterday night's fresh closure above 145.70. Weekly time frame also continues the upside above 140 and a quarter. Bi-weekly time frame fresh cross the upside as of last week's closure above 152, and then the monthly time frame also a fresh cross the upside pending the closure of this month, which happens in 3 trading days from now, assuming that Solana remains above 154.5. So, especially if the monthly pivot is lived above, I really would be looking for this one to likely make a move in November, somewhere around 200, maybe even really initiate the, the real mega move. Probably not finding its totality in November, but overall, pretty damn good first step. Well, first step. I mean, the first step kind of happened a couple weeks ago, but like the next big higher term time frame move. Anyways, moving on from there, looking at Ethereum. Ethereum, as always, the weakest of the big three, the perennial loser. But even then, if Bitcoin and Solana choose the upside route here, I suspect that Ethereum will also follow, both kicking and screaming along the way. But that just is what it is. Buteral is very emotional in the background there, and seems to not be a humongous player for this particular cycle, which is fair enough. I mean, that's just the data that we have. I'm not saying this because I hate Buteral or anything like that, or whatever the fucking conspiracies are in the comment section. I'm going to call it as I sees it, okay? I might be wrong. Could very well be wrong. Maybe Ethereum just explodes to the upside from here and outperforms all other major assets. Possible, but less likely, as we'll go over in a bit here. Anyways, first and most importantly, we do see that Ethereum, after putting in low number 1 and higher low number 2, is going to have a chance this week to put in a higher low number 3 above or right at the 786 Fibonacci retracement. Now, this is a deep retracement, so it's not really indicative that, again, Ethereum isn't like the most powerful of positions, but hey, 3 higher lows alongside a higher high that we did see from this week on on October 21st versus the late September highs. It does seem to me that there is very likely a reversal going on here as well, especially with the way that Bitcoin and Solana are looking like. But Ethereum mostly just being dragged up by the general strength of the market rather than its own strength is the way that I kind of see this one. On top of that, same shit over here with the weekly stochastic oscillator. We do see, again, the same sort of bounce region that has been propelling the last few mega rallies. We're talking about, December of 2022. We're talking about over here, October of 2023. And then again, coming off the same region over here on a little bit of divergence as well. But here is the thing, just like there always needs to be some sort of point invalidation, like we just went over for Solana below 163.5. Ethereum has a very obvious one as well. Look, be below your October lows, below your October the 3rd low. Yeah, big fucking problems, and very likely does at least set it up for a move back down to like 2,000 and maybe even just break down from there. Possible, yes, but I would still be leaning on the upside, just personally speaking, here, based off of the other market participants, if you want to call it that. On top of that, if we go over here, what sort of areas of interest would be relevant to the upside? Let me go to log scale. If Ethereum does join the rest of the market, perhaps in the month of November/December, well, I think 2,900 very, very likely, probably a move above 3,000, somewhere between 3,100 at the 50% retracement and also the 618 fib here at 3,339. I don't think that move happens in November, but perhaps somewhere around 3,000. Again, coming off the same region that it has been basing off of since June of 2022 lows. Again, in December of 2022, October 2023, perhaps yet again over here in September of 2024. It's like each and every year, it just loves to retest that region. I would get extremely bearish on Ethereum if you see any sort of closures below like 2,200. So that's my criteria for that. But until then, I think that it generally benefits from the rising tide in this market. We should also go check out Solana Ethereum just to perhaps have another confirmation tool. And what do you know? The big bad breakout is occurring right in front of our faces. In fact, I think we called this one out like a week or two ago. Now you're just getting follow through on top of that. So I think it's going to continue from here. Breakouts typically beget more new highs until you really meet some sort of major selling pressure. But this is kind of the first mega move that we have seen on this weekly. So I'd be looking for this one to continue upwards and onwards. Maybe next area of interest to the upside would be 0.0779. Maybe, for a little bit of a small reaction. But I do think that it will ultimately find its way at least somewhere around here before getting like a decent pullback. But for right now, Solana I would expect to continue to outperform Ethereum. Only way I'd change my mind around that is if you saw this thing slammed down before the end of the month and it came back down below like 0.06 even. But yeah, I think that's unlikely. But hey, it could happen. If that did happen, then yeah, you get very bearish on the Solana Ethereum pair. Anyways, going over here to Bitcoin, just kind of making it really nice and short and sweet, hopefully as good as possible. Daily time frame, again, Sunday, we don't really expect too much in terms of price action, usually a very low volatile day. Wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin, or it's not, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised to see Bitcoin not operate in this region between the 38.2 level here at 67,500 to the upside versus the 50% level to the downside, which is 66,400. Expect we don't see a closure above or below that region. But look, Bitcoin here, I do think is rather interesting just because a lot of people I see once again are getting like very bearish off of this move that we saw from the October the 21st high. We did say on this channel that statistically speaking, the 21st of October is the most likely day to be the high. It doesn't always have to work out like that, but it looks like this is going to be the case. I don't expect new highs or new lows, honestly, until November begins for Bitcoin. But where would be sort of the next area of interest? Well, any sort of closure above Thursday's high, which is 68,810, by the way, on the index. And I'd be looking for that move into shallow 70,000s. Very likely you see a move somewhere around the prior all-time high to follow that. Maybe not on the same day, maybe not on the same week, but, a week or two after that, very likely you do see prior all-time highs retested and then, perhaps fun times in November. So I think that we're still going to be kind of waiting around here until the end of this month of October. Very, very close now. I think, when does this one end? It ends on Thursday Eve, or Friday Eve, I guess, because that would be Thursday night, I think. I don't know how that shit works. Days are fucking difficult, man. Anyways, look, if Bitcoin were to close below, let's just call it $66,000 even, make it nice and round and sweet. At that point, I guess maybe I could start to entertain the possibility of, well, obviously it would be a reversal here, but decent downside, perhaps back down to like very low 60s. But I don't really see where people are getting this idea for like 40,000. I mean, I guess I can see it. It's just like the probability of it is, I think, quite low. I mean, if that were to happen, I don't think that this market's moving to the upside anytime soon after that, like for a very long time, like 2 years, if that were to happen, if you were to see something like that. But, I can always be wrong in these things. If you want my extended explanation on that, then just check out most of the videos from this last week going over November probabilities, which we'll do a lot more this week in preparation for such things. Basically, I'm still of the same opinion. If this is if this is indeed the move, it comes from here. Yeah. And I do think that this probably is the move. Yeah. But hey, can always be wrong on that. Anyways, the bi-monthly time frame does have just 4 days left to go. And if it were to close anywhere above $68,000, yeah, I think you're going to see Bitcoin actually put in the real run, and potentially as high as 134,000. I think it's potentially as low as like 90,000. It's my general thoughts as of right now, and that probably takes us into like the end of Q1 of this coming year. But still a long way to go from there. So yeah, I think that's a good place for me to leave it off on this video. As always, I want to wish you the best. Is there anything else that I wanted to say? Nah, not really. Fuck it. We'll be back on tomorrow, maybe with a couple of special announcements for tomorrow. Got a lot of things that are kind of working in the background that I'm really excited to start speaking about. So yeah. With all of that said, I'd like to wish you the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Monday.